Hello there. This is Rom Wills, and I'm coming back at you again with yet another video. This video, I'm going to talk about successful black men and their relationship choices. Years ago, I wrote this blog, article, blog, whatever, for this website. And it was called Successful Black Men and the Shortage of Good Black Women. And it was, to say it went viral is an understatement. Now, this is before the days of YouTube and social media, so for something to be spread like that is incredible. Now, I had all types of feedback from it. Some good, some bad. I mean, I had, you know, like for men and women, mostly men supported it. I had some women supported it as well. They were like very cool with it. They were like, yeah, you right on. And then I had a lot of women though. They were just like, they were hot. They were psychoanalyzing me, everything. I was like, man. And all I really said in it, see, the interesting thing is I used what I termed as three fictionalized examples of successful black men. And and it's interesting how some people responded to that. They were like, "Oh, well, they ain't real anyway. That's not real." And that was the most amazing thing about it. And that's halfway another video. You had some women saying these guys ain't real, and really, I just said fictionalized because, quite frankly, you can get sued if you like use somebody's real name. So this was just easy, and some of it was to protect privacy. If I made a mistake, I should have just said these are real people, names have been changed. I should have just said it like that. But hindsight is 2020. Anyway, the main gist of it was that a successful black man in this country can have a hard time finding the right mate because, despite what anyone thinks, he's not going to just grab any type of woman. And I want to update that a bit because now that we have social media and all of this good stuff, one of the things I'm seeing, and it's of course we have the constant message of women looking for a good black man. And yeah, we get it, but if you start like really listening, you're starting to see a lot of women saying not just any black man, but a man with money, basically a successful man, which is cool. It's understandable. I mean, you know, love is one thing, and some guy who got that good in that 9 inches is one thing, but when that electric bill comes due, that that ain't gonna work. You're gonna need a guy with resources. Now, one of the things is there's a shortage of these type of men. That's one of the more interesting things. There is a shortage of these type of men. Yeah, there's a shortage of these type of men, and when we talk about success, it's basically somebody who's doing what they like supposed to in life. But the average woman is going to see somebody who as successful as somebody who's making their own money, lots of money. I would say in the six figures range generally. Somebody could be making 50,000, but they have a project or they building a school or they really doing the hell they want. They successful too. But in general, a woman's going to consider someone successful if they making those six figures, and there's not a lot of them around. Now, here's the thing. It's one thing for women to want these men. And there's they can go on TV, they can go on some of these talk shows, and they can go on social media and they'll say, hey, you gotta have that man making all that money. You know. And they say it privately. They'll say it. Some of the bolder ones come right out and say it. The problem is a lot of these successful men, these successful brothers, they aren't cooperative. And that's why I call this video "Successful Black Men and Their Relationship Choices." See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You have a lot of women, they they don't want to date a guy unless he can take them out, do all this, drive in a certain car, live in a certain area, have a certain home. And when a man reaches that level, he might, like I said, he might not be inclined to want to deal with those same women. Because here's what, and I don't know why, and I'm gonna be honest, maybe a woman can explain this in the comments or something. Hell, even a troll might be able to explain, because I never understood it. A lot of women want that man who's making all that money, but they don't want to be around while he's actually doing it. Because unless he's a pro athlete, he's not going to make that amount of much money, or have that, like, the financial resources right away at the stroke of a pen. He is taking some time for it. And one thing women don't understand, when a black man, especially in this culture really is not overall supportive of a black man becoming successful. And that's not even due to racism, believe it or not. People can throw racism out there, but there are men who succeed despite it. And I'm not one of those men who going to say, oh yeah, the big bad white man is stopping me from doing anything. But a lot of times, a lot of women don't really understand the price of success for a black man. Because first of all, here's a reality. Here is a reality. When men of other cultures, especially the dominant culture, especially in this country, succeed, a lot of times they do so through networks. They do so because they had a head start by their family. Now contrast that with the average black man. I'm saying the average. Yeah, there's some families who can pass on generational wealth. Not so overall in the black community. So the average man, especially if he's not a jock, he got to go to school. He got to learn a trade. He got to do something. He got to work hard to get to the promised land of quote unquote success. And he has to do that basically without any real networks, without any real financial networks. Hell, sometimes depending on the business, maybe even without mentors or anything. A lot of times he might have to figure out stuff himself. He has to build it up. Now, during this period while he's building it up, he might not have a lot of female companionship. Unless he's extremely handsome, a lot of women ain't tolerating a guy who's built, he driving that bum car. I remember, and I don't usually mention celebrities, but I remember reading about Tyler Perry. He was dating some woman, and this was actually after he made some money, and she didn't like driving some, like it was a good car, but it wasn't the type of car she wanted. Now think about some other guys who they ain't Tyler Perry, or they don't have that money. And you get some women out there, they don't want to deal with that guy driving that car with a hole in the floor, like Michelle did, hanging out with Barack Obama. Let's just keep it 100. A lot of women know if that guy pull up to the house with some bucket, she'd be like, boo boo, You know that. So the man, he's working hard. He's trying to build his business. He's trying to build his profession. Because even if he goes to a professional school, even if he's like going to be a doctor or be an attorney, be an accountant, or be an engineer, anything, that's not happening. He has to build it up. He has to work at it. He has to learn the ropes, and it's not easy. But during that time, like I said, unless he's like really handsome, he's going without female companionship. And this ain't something off the top of my head. See, one thing people don't realize, I'm known for talking about relationships, but on a secondary thing, I just talk about success in life. And I talk to a lot of entrepreneurial brothers. And it's almost a rite of passage. You going through some stuff, you figuring out a way to eat cheap, You know, I've known a couple who are on the path to success who had to sleep in their cars. Shoot. And a rite of passage is sleeping on an air mattress at some point. You know, it's tight. It's tight. But then, you know, as that brother builds up, you know, he can get more stuff. He can upgrade. He can get a better car, get a better wardrobe and all of that. What happens is he gets to the point where he now becomes attracted to women. I mean, you know, part of success though is also just being physically healthy. So, you know, you get a gym membership, put some muscle on him and everything. He becomes what he wasn't before. You know, he becomes that sexually attractive man because of a side effect of being successful in life is just having that confidence. So okay, he gets up there, he does all that. This is what he sees. This is what he sees, and what he does see is a shortage of viable women. And yeah, I say a successful black man. I'm gonna state this clearly. It don't necessarily mean he going to automatically get with some white woman, because a lot of sisters will hear that and think, oh, he ain't gonna get with the sister, he get with the white woman. No, because if he a successful brother, he looking at he. If he get with a white woman, she gonna look like Barbie. No joke. And he's just as quick to get with a Latina, or he's, you know, there are a small percentage of black women out there that a successful brother is going to consider. See, the bottom line is a successful man, first of all, if he's looking to settle, and that's when I'm saying a big if, because I'll get into that in a second. If he's looking to settle, he's looking for the most physically attractive woman. Because first of all, if you got a guy, he making six figures, he got his home, he got his late model car, you know, he got the ability to travel. There's nothing a woman can really bring to the table but sex appeal and companionship. Let me say that again. There's nothing she can bring to the table. He don't care about her degree. I mean, if she got it, I mean, he can appreciate her degree, he can respect it, but he don't care about her degree. You know, he don't care unless he want to go in business with her. He ain't really that pressed about what she doing for a living. You know, it's like one of those things. It's like, oh, well, okay, you got it, but it's not going to get his dick hard. And yeah, I'm going to be raw with it. He ain't going to get his dick hard. The primary things he's looking for is sex appeal and female companionship. You know, he's looking for that feminine energy. And, you know, if you're not bringing that, he doesn't want it. If a woman ain't bringing it, he doesn't want to deal with it. And see, something else too, a lot of women do. A lot of sisters do this, and I haven't seen it as much in other communities, but I know a lot of sisters will do this. They'll mess with that like bad boy or pretty boy early. You know, early in life, get knocked up or, you know, develop a lot of baggage. But then expect that brother who works his way up, you know, not bringing a child to the table, not bringing major baggage to the table, you know, bringing resources and stuff, bringing a good life. They expecting that brother to help clean up the mess. So the man, you know, after he done worked hard, didn't have any female companionship or much of it while he was working hard, he looking at this woman like, well, wait a minute, what the fuck did she do to earn this? Because here's a deep thing. Once a man, well, let me back up. Let me say this statement. I told a woman years ago, women I dated a few times, I said, don't let me get rich without you. Because I ain't going to forget once I get there and you weren't walking with me. See, one of the things, if a man becomes successful, it really happens in his like 30s, 40s. If he doesn't already have a child, and if he doesn't already have a child and he doesn't have any inclination to even want a child, it's very little that woman can do. It's very little a woman is bringing him. He might not even want to settle down, because quiet as it's kept, a lot of successful men, they just prefer, you know, they might travel overseas or something just to have sex with a woman, if that, you know, just for sex, or, you know, they'll deal with a woman stateside, but she, like I said, she will be top echelon as far as sex appeal. And here's the thing. A real relationship is not built on dating. Let me say that again. It's not built on dating. It's not built on all those lovey-dovey moments. It's not built on, not even on mind-blowing sex. A real relationship is built on that bond that a man develops with a woman going through some tough times. Let me say that again. You know, all that fun stuff is good, and a lot of women get into it, but a man's going to look at who's being loyal to him, who was there with him when he didn't have anything. He's going to be thinking about it. And then if he gets to that point, to the promised land, without that, there's nothing that woman can really bring to him, even that's going to show that she would be loyal to him. Because what if that man, he got all that money, and then he might be thinking, well, damn, what if something happened, I lose this, or there's some accident? Is this woman going to stay with me, or she going to roll as soon as the money stop? And he's thinking that. It's nothing emotional. It's no emotional tie that man's going to have. So when he makes that choice, that's what he's going to be thinking about. Even with the women he just wants for sex. Which is why a lot of successful men, successful black men especially, if they get up there and then, they might want a child or something from some halfway decent woman. But if they get to that point for whatever reason, because a lot of guys become successful, they might have had a child when they were young and then, really get on the path to success. If they already got that child, shoot. I've known of men who would get a vasectomy. Because they're just like, nah, no more. So what do the women don't have anything to offer. Except for the top echelon as far as sex appeal. And when he makes his choices, that's what he's looking at. That's why a lot of when women talk about they want to find a successful man, he's not around. He's not around. He's not going. And first of all, they might not even recognize him, to be honest, because a lot of successful men are really low key. They ain't gonna automatically go out and get that late model car and stuff. So, but what I've talked about, and to really be honest, I could go a long time because this is something I've been peeping since the 80s, because that's been my peer group, brothers trying to do something, or striving to do something. Some have made it, some are, they still on that path, but it's always that same thing. I'm on that path, who trying to walk with me? And that's going to affect how they choose. Is that woman going to stick with them? Is she going to sleep on that air mattress with them? Is she that type? Or is she that type who just want to just enjoy the fruits of the labor, but doesn't want to enjoy having actually picked them off the tree? So this is just something I want y'all to think about. And I might have rambled a little bit, but like I said, this is something. I'm gonna be honest how deep this subject is. I got like a 40-page outline for a book about successful black men. And I'm saying a 40-page outline. I mean, I could halfway just publish just the outline. And that's just starting from the 90s, because I did nothing but take notes. So imagine if I did the book. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.